Good evening and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation Public Information Meeting for Project 40146, the replacement of Bridge 2510 carrying Route 82 over Strongs Brook in the town of East Haddam. My name is Kevin Blasi and I'm the project manager of the project being presented this evening. And thank you to everyone out there right now who's taken the time out of their evening to tune into the presentation of this project. We really appreciate it and we hope that by the end of this event, you'll have a clear understanding of the proposed project. Before I explain the meeting format and introduce the project team, in a moment I'll hand it over to East Haddam First Selectman Rob Smith, who is joining us by phone. On January 28th, our project team presented this project to First Selectman Smith, to Beth Lunt, East Haddam's Director of Public Works, and to representatives from the East Haddam Fire Department and State Police. Along with the details specific to the bridge, we discussed the proposed detour and the project schedule and noted that the project will be undertaken with federal and state funds and that no town funds are required. We'll present those details and others again here tonight. The project was favorably received by the attendees of that meeting, and that brings us to this evening's presentation to you, the public. And with that, I'll now hand it over to First Selectman Smith.
Thank you, Kevin. I'd like to welcome folks to this virtual public information meeting for the replacement of the deteriorating bridge over Strongs Brook, which is in the North Plain area of East Haddam. For those of you that are not familiar with the work area, Strongs Brook and Route 82 are in a little narrow valley about a quarter-mile east of the 8 Mile River. Private driveways further confine the area where work will be occurring. As Mr. Blasi mentioned, the Department of Transportation provided an overview of the project to the town of East Haddam in January. I'm familiar with the condition of this bridge and the potential safety issues on the bridge created by the two adjacent private drives that are immediately to the east of the bridge. The town recognizes that the bridge must be replaced and supports the project, which proposes moving the bridge slightly to the west to address safety considerations. The town also supports a proposed detour, which will be discussed by the DOT staff. Unfortunately, there will be significant inconvenience for area residents, but it will expedite the work, thereby significantly shortening the overall project. Emergency Services has reviewed the project and will be activating automatic mutual aid responses for properties east of the project. These will commence at the start of the project, and the emergency responses will primarily come from the town of Salem. Additionally, there will be more police patrols on the local roads being used for the detour. The town and Board of Education will be assessing the best school routes and the best routing for our students during the period of construction. Importantly for our town residents, there will be no town funds used on this project as was stated. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Blasi and the DOT project team. Thank you.
Thank you, First Selectman Smith. Before we begin the formal presentation, I'll explain the format of this evening's meeting and cover some general housekeeping items. First, I'd like to introduce the project team from the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Bart Sweeney, Manager of Bridges. Andy Cardinale, Bridge Design Principal Engineer. Once again, I'm Kevin Blasi, Bridge Design Project Manager. Kentaro Plude, Bridge Design Project Engineer. Ashley Heredia, Bridge Design Project Designer, and Matt Giannakopoulos, Right-of-Way Coordinator from our Office of Rights-of-Way. And during the presentation, Matt will provide an overview of the procedures followed for the department for right-of-way impacts to properties and for property acquisitions. Following the formal presentation, the project team will host a question and answer session, during which time you'll have the opportunity to ask the project team questions or provide comments regarding the proposed project. The project is at the 30% design phase. It's therefore subject to possible changes as the design develops, but this evening's presentation will provide you with a good overview of what can be expected. Your comments and questions are a welcome part of our design process, and they serve us in the continued development of our design. During the Q&A session that follows the presentation, there are 3 methods of communicating with the project team. You can send us an email, you can call us and leave us a voicemail, or for those of you viewing through MS Teams tonight, you can post questions in the chat field to the right of your screen. And I'll provide a bit more detail on each of those in a moment. The project email, phone, and chat will be screened by the project team during the Q&A session, and the questions asked through any of those methods will be posted to the MS Teams Q&A chat window of the presentation, which viewers of the MS Teams event can access by clicking the Featured tab in the live event Q&A window. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. During the Q&A session, I will be reading all submitted questions aloud for our team to answer. And you can certainly feel free to send us a question at any point this evening, but we will be answering those questions during the Q&A session. So to send us a question or comment during the Q&A, you can send us an email at dotproject0040-0146@ct.gov. You can leave us a voicemail at 860-944-1111, or if viewing through MS Teams, you can type a question in the chat window and hit the send button. Please be aware that the period to receive questions or comments extends through July 13th. So if you think of a question after tonight's event, or if you'd like to be provided more detail on a question we answered this evening that we didn't provide during the Q&A, you can certainly send us an email or leave us a voicemail, and we'll get back to you within a few business days. For those of you watching on MS Teams live event this evening, I'll show you how to post a question to the chat field. There's a little question mark up here, show Q&A. You'll be clicking that. This brings up your live event Q&A field. Select this Ask a Question button, and there's your field for asking a question. You can hit enter to post a question, or click this button here to send. And you can select this to post anonymously. The question is then posted, and there will be a small delay, but eventually it will show up in this field. You click this tab Featured, and it will show up in the Featured section. And the Featured section will be all questions asked by the meeting attendees this evening, and will also include postings and announcements by the project team. So with those housekeeping items out of the way, we'll now proceed to our presentation. Thanks very much for your patience.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Heredia, and I am the project designer for Project 40-146, which is the replacement of bridge number 2510, carrying Route 82 over Strongs Brook in East Haddam. Here's an aerial view of the bridge. And the bridge location to give a better idea of where the bridge is with respect to other roads. With regards to existing bridge information, the original structure was built in 1924, so it is just shy of 100 years old. The structure is a reinforced concrete slab on reinforced concrete abutments. There is also a small stone wall along the roadway at the inlet side. It is a 12-foot span with a curb-to-curb of 28 feet and has an estimated average daily traffic of 3,100 vehicles with a 1% truck traffic. Here are elevation views of the inlet on the left and the outlet on the right. With regard to the structure deterioration, this table shows the 3 latest inspections. Our rating system ranges between 9 and 1, 9 being excellent and 1 being imminent failure. As you can see in our latest inspection, all 3 major elements of the structure were rated a 4. While the structure is not in imminent danger, it is in poor condition. which means it's deficient, and this is typically when we put them on a list to become projects. Most of the deterioration includes cracking with and without efflorescence, severe scale, loose and punky concrete, and spalls with exposed and rusted reinforcement. Here are some pictures of that deterioration. With regards to existing safety concerns, the bridge is currently directly next to two driveways that share an entrance. Due to the proximity of the driveways, the bridge parapet has an unprotected blunt end at the leading end, which cannot be left unprotected. As is, the driveways are too close to the bridge for us to be able to protect this blunt end. Because of this, the department is proposing the bridge to be shifted west approximately 45 feet from its existing location. Other safety concerns include the fact that the stream at the inlet runs too closely in parallel to the roadway. Because of this, the roadway is settling at this side. In addition, the vertical posts have virtually no room for deflection. With regards to highway improvements, we're proposing to improve the intersection sight distance at the driveway by clearing the sloping next to it, as you can see in the picture on the right and on the left. We're also proposing to modify the profile of the roadway by increasing or raising the profile of it, as you can see here on the bottom left. In addition, we're proposing to improve the roadway drainage and minimizing sheet flow across the driveway curb cut. This will be taking place with a swale, a catch basin, and a drainage pipe. With regards to rights-of-way impacts, we will need the following easements. A slope easement for tree clearing and roadway support, and I just want to point out that this orange area near the driveway will be regraded. An easement to excavate channels so that we can shift the channel over. Permanent easement for the wing walls of the culvert. Drainage rights-of-way for the pipe. And a construction easement for part of the sloping around the driveways, as well as for the crane. Our proposed project scope includes temporary relocating overhead utilities, implementing a detour, installing cofferdam at the new proposed bridge location, installing the box culvert and lay out the proposed stream realignment, removing the cofferdam and relocating the water to the new stream, removing the existing structure and stone wall, and increasing the roadway profile. The new structure will be a 16-foot wide by 6.5-foot high precast concrete box culvert with a curb-to-curb of 28 feet and an out-to-out of approximately 48 feet. Here is an elevation view of the proposed culvert. As previously mentioned, we're proposing to relocate the overhead utilities. This image here shows where the existing utility poles are. And this is our proposed temporary utility pole layout. Now, once the culvert is installed, the poles will go back to this permanent location. For our vehicular detour, we're proposing a directional detour with the use of some local roads. Circled in yellow, you can see the bridge location. Our eastbound detour includes the use of Route 434, Haywardville Road, Alexander Road, Salem Road, and Route 11. It is approximately 10 miles long and takes 17 minutes to get around. Our westbound detour includes Route 156 and White Birch Road. It is approximately 5 miles long and takes 9 minutes to get around. We are proposing a directional detour due to how narrow the existing roads are, but the roads will be available for travel in either direction. Our proposed truck detour is on state routes. Due to how narrow the roads are, the proposed detour will be 33 miles long and will take approximately 40 minutes to get around. For our proposed project schedule and cost, our construction is anticipated to start in the spring of 2022. It'll last one construction season. We're proposing alternating one-way for approximately 5 weeks and a detour for approximately 8 weeks. The current cost is at $3 million with 80% federal and 20% state. For our environmental coordination, the following permits are required: the Army Corps of Engineers General Permit, the General Water Resource Construction Activities or Individual Inland Wetland and Watercourse Permit, and the Pre-Construction Notification Permit. I'm going to now hand it over to our Rights-of-Way coordinator.
My name is Matt Giannakopoulos, and I am a project coordinator with the department's Division of Rights-of-Way. It is our office's responsibility to acquire the property rights needed for transportation projects. Proposed project design requires the acquisition of property rights, so I'd like to give a brief overview of the department's right-of-way acquisition process. Please keep in mind, though, that the specific impacts are still being fine-tuned and may change as the design progresses. Any property rights that will be required will be acquired in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes Sections 13A-73 and 13A-98E. Whenever there is federal money used in any aspect of a project, the department must adhere to the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. Once the design has moved to the point where we are ready to begin the acquisition process, each affected property owner will receive a formal letter of intent to acquire from our office, along with a property map which depicts the exact property rights to be acquired. At that point, our office will determine the fair market value of those property rights and use that value to establish an offer of just compensation. That offer will be sent out to the property owner in writing, and a right-of-way agent will be available to meet with the property owner and explain the project, go over the specific impacts to their property, and explain the state's offer. The property owner will have a reasonable time, typically at least 30 days, to consider the state's offer and enter into negotiations. When an agreement is reached, the states will prepare all the necessary paperwork and record the deed and the property map on the town land records. However, if negotiations reach an impasse, in order to keep everything on schedule, the department may acquire the necessary property rights through its power of eminent domain. In that event, the state files a notice of condemnation in the Superior Court, along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the state's offer. The owner would have 6 months from that date to file an appeal if they felt that the state's offer was inadequate. Whether or not the owner chooses to appeal, the money that was deposited in the court is available to be withdrawn by the owner, subject to the discretion of the Superior Court. I know a lot of people, when they hear the phrase eminent domain, thinks that it means the state just takes their property for $1. However, the owners are entitled to at least the state's original offer of just compensation, and the state only takes title to the property rights that are needed for the project. If there are any questions regarding the department's right-of-way acquisition process, I'd be happy to address them once the presentation has concluded.
And that concludes our formal presentation of the project. I'd like to thank the project team for a great job in putting that presentation together. I'd also like to thank those people behind the scenes who were instrumental in helping us get this live event out to all of you who are viewing it tonight. At this time, we will begin the question and answer portion of the event. Once again, our project team will be monitoring the chat window, the project email, and the phone line for any questions or comments that you'd like to ask or offer, and we'll do our best to answer them with as much detail and clarity as possible. Please remember that the comment period is open through July 13th. So if you think of a question after this event has ended, or if we provide an answer to a question this evening, but you'd like additional details, please reach out to us at any point through the comment period and we'll get back to you with an answer. So to reiterate, you can reach us at this time by sending us an email at dotpr0ject0040-046@ct.gov. You can reach us by phone by leaving a voicemail at 860-944-1111, and both of those will be available through July 13th, or you can send us a chat through MS Teams tonight. Whether contacting us through email or voicemail, we will not include your name with your question unless you specifically request us to do so. And remember, if you send a comment by MS Teams chat, you have the option to post the question anonymously. All questions that come in during this session will be posted to the chat window and read aloud for the project team to answer. The formal portion of this presentation will be posted to the YouTube project channel, and a report of meeting which captures this evening's Q&A session will be posted to the project webpage. If you have the time to accommodate us, we'd really also appreciate it if you would take our survey at https://www.surveymonkey.com/r/CJBGJZ6. And that link is also available in the chat window, at the bottom of the project page, and in the description field of the project YouTube channel. Once again, the public comment period is open through July 13th, during which time you can reach us through the project email and the voicemail. Thanks again so very much for taking the time out of your evening to view our presentation. We hope it was educational and informative. At this time, the project team will be answering any questions that come in. Thank you. So Matt, I've got a question on how typically long is the right-of-way process? If you want to speak to that.
Yeah, sure. This is Matt Giannakopoulos from the Department's Division of Rights of Way. And typically, depending on the complexity of the acquisition, from when you first get our initial letter to us, from us, and when you get your payment and when the thing is closed, is about 6 to 9 months. That can vary. It can be shorter than that if it depends on how many questions the property owners ask or how involved the process is. But a rule of thumb between when you first get that letter and when the process is over is between 6 and 9 months.
Kentaro, can you share, there's a question, can you share if there will be impact to accessing the driveways on the bridge? Will residents need to restrict access usage of the driveway during the work?
Hello, this is Kentaro Plute. I'm the project engineer for this project. Throughout the construction of this project, we will be maintaining access to that driveway. However, during portions of the construction process, like the utility companies will probably have to use that driveway to install the utility poles.
So a voicemail has come in. Can you please run through the detours again? Ashley, if you want to take this.
Sure, Kev. Let me just share here my screen. All right, so as mentioned before, we're going to have a directional detour for the local roads. And if you're going eastbound, you're going to take Route 82, then you're going to take Javier Road, then you're going to go onto Haywardville Road, Alexander Road, Salem Road, Route 11, and then back on 82. Then if you're going westbound, you're going to take from 82, go on to White Birch Road down here, and then you're going to go up 156 and back on 82. And then for our proposed truck detour, like I mentioned before, it's going to be all on state routes. You're going to be taking 82 to 85, 95, and then to 156. And that's it.
So an email has come in. When will the detour occur? Kentaro?
Sorry, Kevin, can you repeat that question?
An email has come in. When will the detour occur?
Our intent is to construct this bridge in the summer of 2022 while school is in summer break.
Matt, there's a question. How frequently do you run into eminent domain issues?
Yeah, sure. Matt here again. I don't have stats in terms of percentages to give you. It does happen periodically. It can happen for several different reasons why I would need to take title to a property with eminent domain. Sometimes there's clouds in the title. Sometimes if it's held in a bureaucratic entity, it's sometimes easier for them as well as us to acquire it by eminent domain. I can tell you that it's very rare where something is acquired by eminent domain and then it gets appealed. Sometimes most of the cases where it's acquired by eminent domain, it's either settled before it ever gets to an appeal, or it was a friendly condemnation is what we call it. But it does happen. You know, it probably happens, I want to say roughly maybe 10% or so of the acquisitions, but it would be less than that where it would ever end up in court.
Folks, I mentioned that the survey I've asked about would be posted in the chat, and I neglected to do so. So I'm doing that right now for those of you interested and available to fill out the survey at the end of this presentation. That would be wonderful. So an email has come in. Are the charts available? I'm sorry. An email has come in. Are the charts and maps shown tonight available in print? It's my driveway and I would like to study them. So certainly our preliminary plans, as you've seen tonight, are available, and we can certainly provide you with the package, a preliminary design package. Some of the things you've seen tonight are readily available. If you would send us an email and make that request by email so that we, include your address or a way in which we can contact you, that would work. And we'll get back to you with that information. Another email has come in. How long will the new bridge last? Kentaro?
Yes, the new bridge is designed for a service life of 75 to 100 years with proper maintenance.
Folks, any other questions? We're monitoring email, the chat, and voicemail. Please send in some questions if you got them. Okay, from the chat, from the pictures of deterioration, is that structure still safe for use? Kentaro?
Yes, the structure is still safe for use.
And I can actually add on to that. So like I mentioned during the presentation, we have a rating system between 9 and 1, 9 being excellent, 1 being imminent failure. And this structure was rated a 4, which is poor condition, but while it's deficient, it's still usable, and the structure would have to be a 1 to be an imminent failure. So yes, the structure, like Kentaro mentioned, is good to use.
And I'd like to follow up on that map question from the owner of the driveway. I want to kind of restate that, kind of what Matt said in the presentation, but right of way will be visiting property owners with the impacted maps. So you'll get a visit from our rights of way group with the specific impacts to, if there is an impact to your property, certainly we would be our rights of way office would be visiting with you and explaining those impacts in detail. We'll certainly provide, the plans, whatever information you would request this evening if you wanted to look at some preliminary documents, but just to be clear, our rights-of-way group would be meeting with you to go over the specifics.
Hi, this is Andrew Cardinelli. If I may just add a little bit to what Kevin mentioned. Also, after we send the documents to you, you can certainly contact the project team if you have specific questions about the documents that you received. If you need some explanation associated with any of them, we'd be more than happy to help you along and answer any questions you may have in the immediate time.
So folks, again, the project email to contact us through email, DOT@ct.gt.0146@ct.gov. Project voicemail 860-944-1111. And then you can also reach us through MS Teams chat if you are viewing through MS Teams tonight. Folks, any more questions? We'll be monitoring for another few minutes. We've got a number of attendees still out there. Folks, again, DOTPROJECT0040-0146@ct.gov. That is the project email, DOTPROJECT0040-0146@ct.gov. Voicemail 860-944-1111. You folks have been doing a great job using the chat tonight. I appreciate it. Folks, we'll give this another couple of minutes. If you have any questions that you can think of, please send them in within the next few minutes. We'll be wrapping this meeting up at that point, if no further questions. And in the meantime, remember, July 13th, the public comment period goes through July 13th. So if you think of a question after this evening's meeting, you can certainly feel free to reach us by the email I provided, by our voicemail phone, and MS Teams chat, of course, will not be provided. That's a feature for this evening's meeting only. Okay, folks, we have just a few attendees left. I'm going to assume that they are friends and family of the DOT, and that or otherwise it's somebody still tuning in for a question that may be asked, but it looks like we've run dry as far as questions go at this time. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. I think this has been educational and informative for all of us as our first effort in a virtual public information world. Thank you all for coming, and again, please reach out anytime before July 13th with questions you may have. Again, thank you and have a great night.